Good morning to all the students who are going to watch this. Welcome to the second web conference, English That Works 6. Let's go directly to the course content, project, activity 2. Remember, we have material, support materials, evidence, interactive activity, forum, and that's it. On learning guide too. Okay. So let's see the material. We have for this unit the material that is called flexibility and adaptability. Remember to look at the multimedia version. Look for the pronunciation practice also. For all the activities, but especially the pronunciation practice. Here you find the pronunciation practice and you have lots of exercises. The contextualization, which is the dialogue. Then you'll find some comprehension questions and exercises, practices 1 and 2, and pronunciation. So please don't forget to look at it. Here we're going to analyze the PDF version. You also find the support material with a glossary you can download, and this is some additional exercises from the unit. Okay, Microsoft Word file with additional exercises. Here we find the activity we have for this week, learning activity 2, giving advice and live from a wheelchair. Remember to download the document from here and to send it through here. And you also have the interactive activity. You need to click on the button very score to access the activity, and the forum, sharing experiences. Remember, sometimes if you can access this, because sometimes the link gets broken, remember that you can find the forums from the main page. So this is the course, and you find a button that is called photos, and there look for the forum that is called, wait, photos, and the forum sharing experience. Okay, you click on responder, and then please read all the information, because here you find the directions to do the activity. If you are going to participate, you need to click on activate enrich test, and then answer. Evidence forum sharing experience. I will explain this to you. Vamos a comenzar entonces con el foro. Les voy a explicar qué es lo que deben hacer en el foro. In this thematic forum, sharing experiences, you must write your answers to these questions. Remember to support your ideas. Think about an experience in your life where you were flexible and adapted to a new situation or a change in your life. A challenging new job, a trip to an unknown place, a new system in your office, in your school. What was the result? How did your flexibility and adaptability help you to deal with the situation? So think about an experience you have had in your life, a challenging experience in your life, and then try to answer these questions. Share your experience with your partners. Write a 200-word test where you describe your experience. Use mixed conditional sentences, at least 4 examples. The idioms and vocabulary and ideas about flexibility and adaptability studied in this learning activity. At least 8 words from the vocabulary. Remember to use connectors and punctuation. This is very important, you know, because most of the students, and yeah, this is kind of a shame, you know. What they do is that they still use translators, online translators, to write their tests. So I want to emphasize that if you keep doing that, you will never learn how to speak English, how to communicate in English. So in this activity, try to look for the information at the vocabulary. And this web conference is also for you to learn, to remember, to get ideas about what you need to use in this activity, learning activity 2. I will explain later with the material how to use the mixed conditionals, and you need to add mixed conditional sentences here in your experience. And please try to use the vocabulary from the unit. Most of you, let's say that you have forgotten, but let's put it that way. Some of you forget to follow the directions and just copy from another source. So keep in mind that you need to add mixed conditional sentences and vocabulary related to the unit. So here we have the example. When I lived in La Guajira, when I was 21 years old, I was offered a job opportunity in La Guajira for 2 years. They offered me a very competitive salary and some benefits such as accommodation and transportation. Even though it was an interesting opportunity, it was going to be a drastic change in my life. I was going to be away from my family. The weather was really hot. I had always lived in Bogota, where the weather is not that hot. It's even cold, you know, and the culture was different as well. I thought I was not going to adapt to the conditions. However, I accepted the offer and saw it as an opportunity to grow personally and professionally. The first months were hard. I had to deal with the hot weather. The air conditioning was broken in my apartment and it took me a while to fix it. The job was hard. I was working for a big hotel and had to play different roles in different areas of the business. Additionally, the food was different from the food I was used to, so I was having problems eating. It was difficult for me to adapt to these conditions, but I was determined to stay and face the obstacles. In the end, I managed to get used to it and things started to improve. I learned a lot from the culture and made really good friends. If I hadn't accepted that opportunity, I wouldn't have such wonderful friends and memories from La Guajira. Also, if I hadn't learned that much about hotels, I wouldn't be that successful in my current job. So that's the example. Attention. Please write your answer directly in the forum. Try not to attach any document. That's something that some students do too. So if you look at the example, you find that there are some expressions you find in the vocabulary, in the material. Opportunity to grow personally, opportunity to grow professionally, drastic change. Remember that the name of this unit is flexibility and adaptability. Play different roles, that's adaptability, adapt to these conditions, determine when something is difficult, manage, to get used to. And remember here, we have two mixed conditionals, two sentences with the conditional structure. Remember that in the last class, we saw the third conditional, that the first part, the if clause, you needed to use the past perfect. And in the independent clause, you needed to use the, what we call in Spanish, the perfect conditional, you know? This structure in Spanish is called the perfect conditional. Good, would have. And then the verb in the past tense, in the past participle form. But as this one is a mixed conditional, you find that the first part is past perfect, and in the second part, we find just a simple condition. In sentence number 2, we have also a similar structure to this one and to the third conditional. So in the if clause, you find the past perfect, hadn't learned, past perfect. And in the second part, you find the simple condition, wouldn't be. So this mixed conditional is similar to the third conditional in the if clause, but in the second one, you don't need to use the perfect form of the condition. Let me explain this in Spanish. En esta actividad, ¿cierto? Van a expresar una experiencia, van a compartir una experiencia que ustedes hayan tenido a lo largo de la vida, que haya sido una experiencia que que haya sido como, no tanto difícil, pero que haya sido compleja a la hora de tomar decisiones, ¿no? Lo que decimos acá en Colombia como a veces estamos entre la espada y la pared, ¿cierto? Que son este tipo de situaciones que te ponen como en un punto donde tenés que tomar una determinación y bueno, cuando nos atrevemos, terminamos aprendiendo muchísimo de esas situaciones, ¿no? En el ejemplo es la oportunidad de ir a viajar, de conocer a La Guajira, un lugar muy alejado, muy caliente, unas condiciones totalmente diferentes con respecto a Bogotá, ¿cierto? Entonces digamos que es un reto, ¿sí? Es una situación donde uno dice, ok, muy buen salario, me están pagando todo. O sea, no tengo que, además del salario que me están dando, no tengo que invertir ni en arriendo, ¿sí? Porque está incluido en lo que me están ofreciendo, ni transporte. O sea, básicamente que un salario muy bueno y libre. ¿Mm? Em, Ustedes van a buscar una situación que hemos tenido como muchos, ¿no? Y muchas situaciones así, que han sido como, digamos, retadoras en la vida y que es lo que nos ha permitido como también como crecer, ¿no? Y madurar como personas, ¿no? Piensan en una situación que sea así y la van a describir, ¿no? Pueden contestar estas preguntas pensando en estas preguntas. Por favor, utilicen vocabulario de la unidad que se llama flexibilidad y adaptabilidad. Y van a utilizar las oraciones en condicional mixto. ¿Mm? Entonces les estaba mostrando las diferentes expresiones que encuentran de la unidad y van a encontrar acá al final en el ejemplo dos oraciones que están escritas en condicional mixto. ¿Mm? Entonces, recuerden que en la clase pasada veíamos el tercer condicional, donde teníamos en la primera parte el pasado perfecto y en la segunda parte el condicional perfecto. En este condicional mixto se van a encontrar que la primera parte, o sea, yo digo la primera parte, pero realmente si yo cambio esto, pues, cierto, ya no sería la primera, sino en la parte, en la frase que va con el sí condicional, con el if, ¿cierto? Va a seguir la misma estructura del tercer condicional, que es un pasado perfecto, pero ya la frase que es independiente, em, va a ser, no va a llevar el condicional perfecto. Recuerden que en la clase pasada veíamos que el tercer condicional tiene el condicional perfecto en la frase independiente. Es decir, por ejemplo, si acá el verbo es have, acá en, en condicional, tercer condicional sería wouldn't have had, ¿sí? Sino que acá vamos a utilizar simplemente el condicional simple, es decir, el would y el verbo directamente. Y si ustedes revisan la segunda oración es igual, ¿no? O sea, eh, la frase, ¿cierto? Que va con el if va en pasado perfecto y la otra frase, que es la frase independiente, va con un condicional sencillo. El verbo es be, entonces es wouldn't be o would be, ¿cierto? Y si fuese tercer condicional, estaría en condicional perfecto. Acá está en condicional simple, sino que estaría en condicional perfecto, que sería wouldn't have been, ¿sí? Con doble N, porque sería el participio pasado de este. Entonces, eso ya lo veremos enseguida. Muchas de las experiencias que han compartido, yo les he, yo les he, las he devuelto, ¿no? Les he indicado que, bueno, que falta por agregar esta información que es el objetivo de esta unidad. Bueno, esa es una de las actividades que van a hacer. Ya saben que si no logran acceder desde acá, acceden desde la página principal. Espérenme un momento. Thank you. And now the other activity you will have to do in this learning activity 2 is giving advice and life from a wheelchair. So remember, for doing this activity, okay, you find the evidence, the file here. Please download it here from here. And remember that in the same link where you find the file in which you need to work, you also find the link to send the activity. So let's I will show you now. Let's go to what you need to do in this second activity. Here. So here, learning activity 2, we have one part, giving advice, and we have another part, life from a wheelchair. So in the first part, giving advice, these two people are facing changes in their life. Read their situations below. So you find here people who are having challenges in their life. In this case, we find Yuri, and the challenges are related to his job. So please read what he says. He's looking for advice, and you need to give one of them some advice. And here we find Amanda, and she's also having a lot of challenges with her children. So, yeah, her role as a mother, sorry. So, yeah, you need to choose one of them, Gary or Amanda, and you will need to give one of them advice. So here you find the directions in this second page. Select one of the cases and write 150-word letter to Gary or Amanda. In your letter, offer support and advice for the person you choose to try to solve the specific problem this person is facing. So here we have the structure you will need to follow to write that letter. And you need to consider some aspects. First one, include ideas and vocabulary related to flexibility and adaptability, learning the study material. In the letter, underline the ideas included. Include at least 3 ideas. Number 2, use the idioms learned in the study material. Use at least 3 idioms. And 3, use connectors and punctuation. Here is an example of an informal letter. Look at the part your letter must have. So the letter needs to have a date, a greeting, You need to greet Gary or Amanda. A body, try to include information about yourself. You need to, to introduce yourself. Like, dear Gary, okay, I am Yvonne, I am an English teacher. I work for Sena. I saw your story and I want to give you some advice. In the second part, you can include the advice and the ideas you plan to to add in your learning in order to help them to solve their problems. So in this part, try to include the expressions and the idioms. Here, expressions you can use to give advice. And remember to add, like a small conclusion. As a conclusion, I believe you can achieve this. I believe you can overcome this. If you go to the extra mile, you will be able to. And this is also an expression from the material. Go the extra mile. And you need to close the letter and to put your signature. So in this case, sincerely, Juan Solar. In the second part, live from a wheelchair, you will need to watch a YouTube video with, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. That was so amazing. That felt amazing. I'm sorry. Okay. So you will need to watch a video. And this is a real situation that happened to someone. And then, according to what you see on that video, then you will need to answer these questions. So, life from a wheelchair. About 1 in every 1,000 people is handicapped and uses a wheelchair. Therefore, there are about 80 million people in wheelchairs in the world. That is twice the population of Colombia. But what is it like to live in a wheelchair? Please watch the video, Perfectly Able. Wait a minute. Okay. Watch the video, Perfectly Able, live on campus with a disability in the next link. After you watch the video, answer the following questions. Use any voice recording software to record your answers and send the file as evidence. Use mixed conditional sentences, at least 4 examples. The idioms, vocabulary, and ideas about the flexibility and adaptability studied in this learning activity. At least 8 words from the vocabulary. Remember to use connectors and punctuation. Here I recommend you to watch, to use Buckaroo, which is a online website where you can record your audios. And they give you a link and you can place the link right here. So the questions are, what does Ashley do for a living? How does her condition affect her? How does her condition affect her daily activities and how does she deal with it? Number 3, what is her attitude towards life? Does she feel disabled from certain activities? 4, how will your life be different if you were handicapped and had to use a wheelchair? What will be different for you? Use mixed conditional in the answer. You can use mixed conditionals in all the answers, but especially in this one, because here you find a condition in the question. How do you react when you have to interact with a handicapped person? How can you contribute to improve the life of handicapped people? And that's the evidence for learning activity 2. Okay, in part B, of this second evidence, so remember to write here your letter, and then we have that's it. Okay, that's it. Any more? So now let's go to the material. Flexibility and adaptability. Where we are going to learn how to make mixed conditionals. You find, please check this section, because here you find all the vocabulary and expressions about flexibility and adaptability, and the idioms. And all these 3 parts are for you to look at all the information so you can use it in the evidence. Mixed conditionals. Okay, conditionals. Conditionals are used to talk about possible or imaginary situations. They can refer to aspects in the present, past, or future. They are formed by 2 parts, the condition and the result. In English, we have different types of conditionals depending on what we want to express. Sometimes we can combine different conditionals, resulting in a mixed conditional. So remember that in English we have 0 conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. Tenemos 4 condicionales en inglés, ¿cierto? 0, 0, 1, 2 y 3. A ver que yo los tengo por acá. Where are you? Where are you? Here we have all the conditionals. The first conditional, remember that is simple infinitive. The 0 conditional is present simple and present simple. ¿Recuerdan el condicional 0, que es presente, presente? Habla de real facts, ¿cierto? Lo usamos para real facts, things that are true, general facts, for science. For instance, if you put water water into fire, it will boil at 100 degrees. When it reaches 100 degrees. So that's present. Remember that the first conditional is a possibility. It's present simple, future. If you want, you can help this environmental organization. If you listen to this song, you like it. This is a possibility. If it rains, I will stay home. The second conditional, we had past simple and infinitive. If I found a voluntary job, I will apply for it. This is also a possibility. Conditions which are improbable or impossible in the present or future. Not necessarily, but yeah, it's a possibility, but it's, you know, like if I found a voluntary job, I will apply for it. It's a possibility. Maybe I find that voluntary job. And the third conditional, remember that we saw it last class, past perfect and past perfect and perfect conditional. Have past participle. Would have plus past participle. If his father listened to him, he wouldn't have gone away. Okay, those are the conditionals. But here I have another one. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? With the exercises. This one. Ese era el que estaba buscando. Present, past simple, present will, past simple would verb infinitive, and third conditional past perfect would have past participle. And you can, as we saw in the example we have in the forum, you can change, you know, like exchange these two, and that's mixed conditional. The mixed conditional is the combination of these two, the second and the third one. So you will use the if part of the third conditional, and in the independent clause, you will use the bool plus verb infinitive. Este es el que yo digo que es un condicional simple en español, ¿cierto? Como iría, haría, compraría, vendería. Y este es el que llamamos en español un condicional perfecto, ¿cierto? Habría hecho, ¿cierto? Habría, sí, sería, habría ido, habría estado, ¿cierto? Habría podido hacer. Entonces vea que acá es, iría, habría ido, ¿sí? Entonces este es simple y este es compuesto. En el mixed conditional, entonces vamos a utilizar past perfect con este simple. If I had not, you were coming to Malaga, I would have met you at the airport. If it had rained yesterday, the street would have been wet. Estos dos ejemplos son de tercer condicional. Acá tenemos algunos ejemplos. Fill in the blanks with the most suitable form of the verb. Unless you ¿qué pondrían ustedes ahí? Primero, segundo, tercer condicional. ¿Cierto? Es una posibilidad. Unless you have a permit, you will get a job. Sencilla. Acá. If water, ¿cuál pondrían acá? Este sería zero conditional. If water boils, it turns into steam. Este es presente, presente. Acá, presente, futuro, ¿cierto? También podríamos ponerlo, o sea, primer condicional. También podríamos ponerlo como segundo, ¿no? Unless you have a permit, you wouldn't get a job. Podría ser también. La tercera. Este también es presente, futuro, ¿no? Es una posibilidad. If it rains tonight, I won't go out, ¿cierto? Present and future. Ahí tienen esos otros para que los hagan. I believe that's it. If you got any question, please ask me through the forum. See you next class. Thank you.